Hello and welcome to Motors for the Masses, and today we have the biggest sibling of the Royal Enfield Meteor 350. I am of course talking about the Super Meteor 650. So let's roll the intro and get cracking. Royal Enfield seem to have it all on track at the moment, something for the nostalgics, something for the fun hipsters and something for the light cruisers. Well, now they've got something for the more serious cruisers. I know cruisers are not really my style, but this does intrigue me. So let's have a closer look at it. The engine is the same as found in the Interceptor, using the 648cc parallel twin engine, developing 47 horsepower and 39 pounds-foot of torque, meaning this will cruise at legal speeds and beyond all day long. And it means it's a 650cc A2 bike with its 6-speed box and Bosch ECU. Suspension is by Showa, non-adjustable 43mm upside down forks on the front and twin shocks on the rear. Brakes are of course ABS, baby Brembo calipers, 320mm front disc and 300mm rear disc. Hopefully some impressive braking power, but we'll find that out later. Up front you get a 19-inch wheel with a 100 CEAT tyre and a 150 by 16 on the rear. Dimensions on this are actually pretty impressive. 2.2 meters long, 850mm wide, 1.3 meters tall, with a wet weight of 241 kilos and a seat height of 740mm. Feels very comfortable. I'm 5'10.5" with a 31.5-inch inside leg. Never changes. It might do as I get older, might go lower. But I am very comfortable on this, flat-footed, easily reach the pedals. Nice good reach on the handlebars, and it feels very comfortable, and I'm actually quite looking forward to getting out on the road and seeing whether it keeps up with the other ones. Low horsepower, high torque equals a very good ride, but let's find that out very shortly. Now that weight figure is with the tank being 90% full of fuel. It's a 16-litre fuel tank, and it does on paper sound a bit weighty, but with the way it's proportioned and it's quite low down with the centre of gravity, I don't think it's going to be an issue when riding, but again we will find that out shortly. Now the MPG is said to be on paper 54 miles to the gallon, which is pretty good, but in the real world that's probably more 45, I would say. In true Enfield style, a rev counter is just not necessary, so the clocks are pretty simple. Speedo, fuel gauge, gear indicator and clock. And as yet another plane goes over, and I can't keep stopping filming because of it, I do want to point out this on the dash here. I have noticed whilst I've been sitting here filming in the sun, condensation on here and on here, on the inside of this dash. But you do get their tripper nav direction gauge too. That is color coded to show directions, although you need to know the color sequence to know when to turn. It does run through Google though, and apparently works in a no network area through your phone's GPS also. So let's take a look at the quality for a moment. Well, in true Royal Enfield style, on all modern Royal Enfields now, the quality and fit and finish is superb. Everything is very nicely made. I love the finish on the frame, and even matching with these bars here, which were an aftermarket purchase, but they match quite nicely, even though they've got Royal Enfield stamped on them. Royal Fenfield, which is like Royal Enfield, but from Fenchurch, not Enfield. Anyway, the frame, really nicely made. The welds are pretty decent. I love this finish, I really do. The paintwork, lovely, with the black and the green on here, very nice. Now, this is the Interstellar, which is the intermediate version of their range. And I love this badge here. Lovely sort of retro feel on this badge. Really nicely done. And everything is just superbly made. Nothing is cheap at all. Everything about it is very well put together. Lovely, lovely, lovely bike. The wheels on this version are cast alloy, but of course you can get spoked wheels on the other versions if you so wish. The switch gears are retro modern. They're very simplistic, but they do the job quite nicely, and they're nice and simple. No frills, but purposeful. Lights are retro modern, LED of course, so nice and bright, and when I start it you'll hear it running as well. But there we go, nice bright LED lights, easy to see. A decent horn, but you've got those lovely twin exhausts. Let's have a listen. Oh, that's lovely. Nice deep rumble with a throaty feel. Love that. But not overly loud. Oh, very nice. Much nicer, I think, than the Interceptor. Now, putting it on the centre stand is quite simple, really, to be honest. You've got a nice little grab handle on there. Doesn't take a lot of effort to get it on. As a passenger, I would sit on here like this, and you've got your grab handles there as well. Step forward a tiny bit. But yeah, it's quite comfortable. I mean, someone with my posterior can sit on there quite happily, and it's quite comfortable. And as a rider, even more comfortable. Now, the owner of this bike did purchase these crash bars as an aftermarket thing. They arrived in less than 2 weeks, and £140. The finish is superb, it matches the frame perfectly, and they are very nice. 140 quid for those, not bad. And the same with this screen, £140 for this nice, high, wide, very thick, very sturdy screen. I like that as well. And the belly pan was extra also. Quite vital, he seems to think, keeping oil and muck and road grit off the oil filter, which is just there on the front. And that fit and finish extends to everything, to be honest. Look at the quality of that yoke there, the handlebars, all the handlebar mountings, and even this very nice quality alloy petrol cap, not cheap and nasty, very well made indeed. Right then, here we go on the Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650 on what seems to be Lowestoft's worst potholed road. Look at the state of this, look. Ridiculous. Right, well, here we go. Very smooth. Nice sounding beat to that engine. Oh, lovely smooth gear change. Feet forward position here. Very smooth gear change. I have to say a big thank you to the gentleman who let me borrow this bike to do a video on. Very grateful, very nice man indeed. It's probably very strange for him to see me riding away on his bike, but don't panic, Mr. Mannering. So, easy, smooth pull away. It feels very luxurious. The seat's nice and comfortable. It's a nice lazy position, great visibility out of the mirrors, probably about, say, about 90 to 95% visibility, so that's pretty good. Nice relaxed position on the arms. This screen, as I said, is additional, and it does seem to take out some of the buffeting, a lot of the buffeting to be fair. Nice and easy to see dash, classic style, very quiet, very smooth sounding. I like these bars as well, the fact they protect your legs as well as the bike itself. Nice simple relaxing position. The only noise I've got really is through my helmet. Wow, that gear change is very smooth, nice easy clutch. Not as light as the CF Moto perhaps, but it's certainly not heavy. It feels a very light bike to ride. Obviously with the centre of gravity quite low down and it's spread out in the length of the bike, it's pretty good. You really don't need a lot of revs to pull away either. It is definitely just a relaxing cruiser. I'll tell you the best way to describe this bike. It's a wafter. It wafts along almost like an armchair with a hum. That's the best way to describe this. A humming armchair. Relaxing, comfortable, smooth. And if you're into cruisers, it feels great, to be honest. It really does. And I'm not into cruisers at all. Good brakes, nice and positive, but they don't slam on and yank you over the handlebars. They just sort of hunker down and stop you nicely. Nice little burble there from the engine. Takes the corners quite nicely. Wafting along. Switch gears are nice and easy to use. Very simple. Obviously you've got the tripper on here. I haven't used it because I've got to plumb it into my phone. And if I do that, that means unplumbing it from someone else's phone. I don't really want to do that, as it's not my bike or a demo bike. So what Royal Enfields don't have is a rev counter, so I can't report what revs I'm doing at 40 miles an hour, but it doesn't feel like I'm doing a lot of revs, to be honest, because everything seems very smooth and very quiet and very relaxed. We do get a gear indicator. I'm currently in 5th, now 6th. Did get a bit of a false gear there. Which is me. It went into 6th according to the dash, but it just revved. Oh, you don't even know you're changing gear. Okay. I have to say the suspension's a little bit hard on the rear end. When you get over the bumps. Thrash it, but I just want to make sure it definitely gets, it pulls very easily up to speed, very easily. You don't even know you're doing it. It's so relaxing, you don't even want to ride fast. just wafts. Don't even know you're doing 70 miles an hour when you are. Obviously it doesn't turn sharp corners like a sports bike, but you're not going that kind of speed. You're just lazily cruising along, happy to look at the environment and your surroundings. To say the front suspension's pretty good, rear suspension a little bit harsh on the rear end there, not horrendous, but you can feel it jolt a little bit over some bumps. However, this bike hasn't done a huge amount of miles, so it's probably still settling in a little bit. I just want to sing. I won't. I won't. If I have one complaint, it would be that where your feet position naturally are, when you go to change gear, you've got to remember to pull your feet in a little bit or curl your toe in a little bit. Otherwise you can just catch the edge of the gear lever down there. That's about it really. The brake pedal is in a very good position, and the gear lever is in a good position, but it could be done with coming out maybe another inch, just where your feet naturally fall on the pegs, that's all. As it wafts around these country roads, got no dramas here, no concerns, just out for a leisurely cruise on a leisurely cruising bike. It's got enough grunt to propel you at motorway speeds all day long without any concern about it having trouble doing it. The perfect blend, to be honest. Anyone who's into cruiser bikes, you know, you're not into doing ridiculous speeds anyway, and this just wafts along very, very politely. The balance is really good as well. I mean, I'm going to go really slowly here, just so you can see the balance at slow speeds is lovely. Look at, that's just very nice. No, not even registering on the gear lever. Very nice indeed. So my only complaint is a tad harshness on that rear suspension, but it's not major. In general, you don't notice it that much. So how much is it? Well, the price is £7,000 on the road with its 3-year warranty. Now, the rivals in this range are the Kawasaki Vulcan 650S, which is £7,700 on the road. That's more powerful, but it doesn't really have this sort of retro look and feel about it. And also the Honda Rebel 500. Now that's £6,600 on the road, but it's not as powerful. It's got that weird sort of drop tank on it as well. It doesn't have, again, this classic retro look. So there we have it, the Royal Enfield 650 Super Meteor. So what do I think about it? Well, I think for the type of bike it is, it's unbelievably comfortable. It's certainly powerful enough, and it looks fantastic. Now again, I'm not a cruiser style rider type person, but I was very impressed with it. Very impressed with the way it rides, the way it handles, the way it feels, the fit and finish, the quality. It does everything you could possibly ask for. And if you're into cruisers, I think this is a massive contender. In fact, I don't think there's much else out there that can touch it, to be honest. No wonder Royal Enfields are quite popular these days. They've certainly got it all covered. And that brings it to the end of this episode. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll be back next time with something else. Not sure what, but you'll find out soon enough. So if you please like, subscribe and click and share and all that nonsense. And until next time, please ride and drive carefully, but have fun. Bye-bye.